Darren Waller Trade. Can't say I thought I would be saying those words in the year of 2025, but here we are. Welcome into Verts. I am Harrison Graham, where we talk NFL and college football every single day, and it is the month of July, so if a Darren Waller trade was going to happen, it would be in July. But we're getting closer to real football, and Darren Waller decides, hey, I want to come out of retirement. And the Giants say, hey, we've got your contractual rights. And the Dolphins say, hey, we'll trade for him. And here are the trade details as Darren Waller and a 7th go to Miami for a conditional 6th to New York. That's about what you would expect on a player coming out of retirement. Giants get something out of it, so that's a win for them. And potentially a win for Miami to get a talented player at a position of very big need after trading Jonnu Smith. But again, did anybody see this coming? There was kind of a deep rumor that Darren Waller could look to return, but there wasn't a lot of reporting on that, right? I mean, things ended weird in New York. He didn't play last year. He gets divorced, Kelsey Plum. There's all kinds of rumors happening, what's going on in his personal life, and now he's back. And I will say, Darren Waller, for not an extended stretch, but for about a 3-4 year period, is pretty damn productive and pretty damn good. End of his time with the Raiders, especially. I mean, you think of that 2020 season, definitely the best of his career when he was arguably, other than Travis Kelce at the time, the best tight end in the NFL, maybe George Kittle as well. And again, after it was reported yesterday that the Dolphins, after trading Jonnu Smith, were talking to teams about tight end availability. Now, we've got Waller just penciled in as the third guy right now, but Julian Hill, Pharaoh Brown, if Darren Waller is back engaged and, 80% of what he was before retiring, there's a world where he's the best tight end on the Dolphins, especially as a receiving weapon. Now, if you're Mike McDaniel in Miami, don't ask Darren Waller to block a lot. That's not who he is. That's not a strength of his. It's not what he wants to do. But if you use him as a guy who can stretch the seam, work the middle of the field, be a guy on third down that Tua can target, I like the fit. 1 year up to $5 million. I think this is a pretty big, kind of low risk addition for Miami in a year that I don't know what realistic expectations are. I mean, could they flirt for a wild card spot if Tua is healthy? Perhaps. I'm kind of selling stock in the Dolphins, but I don't mind this kind of low risk, take a swing move when you need somebody at tight end. I mean, without Waller, this is arguably the worst room in the NFL. Now, I'm not sitting here acting like Darren Waller is going to be awesome. Maybe he doesn't even make the team. Who knows? But they had to make a move, and this is the one they opted to make. This is why you subscribe to the channel. When big news drops, we have it covered here on Verts. We react to breaking news. We discuss big rumors that are out there. I give my take on a lot of storylines out there and just kind of self-created content, different segments around what's going on in the NFL. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications. It is free. We're getting closer to training camps. We'll have our series that we started last year when the channel launched of just full previews for every single division. So that'll be fun. Preseason coverage, regular season coverage. It's all going to be here before we know it. Okay, speaking of trades, there's been some trade buzz around TJ Watt following their trade yesterday as he remains unhappy with this contract. Well, now there's a new report out from James Palmer, formerly NFL Network, now with Bleacher Report, that Watt could land at more than $40 million per year on his new contract, which, of course, is the new benchmark among edge rushers, as Myles Garrett got that number from Cleveland. Here's what Palmer had to say. Quote, hearing there's a chance Watt gets past $40 million per season. He has every right to ask for it. I've talked on here a lot about the comparisons between he and Myles Garrett. The numbers are almost identical. He has the right to try and get that. Similar age, same draft. They've both been very productive in the same division. In some areas, Watt's actually been better. And that's kind of what I've said all along. TJ Watt is going to ask to top the Myles Garrett deal, which is $40 million per year. And that's a big commitment if you're Pittsburgh. But the way they've operated and going all in on 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, trading for DK Metcalf, they're trying to win right now, getting Jalen Ramsey signed up, adding Jonnu Smith. You don't do all that and then let TJ Watt go. I will say, in terms of the contract, I think the guaranteed money is the key because it's cool to get the headline and agents push for this of highest pay in the NFL from an average per year basis. What happened once Garrett got $40 million per year? Jamar Chase signed for $40.1 to become the highest paid non-QB in the history of the NFL, right? So that's a big part of this. Well, Myles Garrett got $123.5 million guaranteed. That's the number TJ Watt wants to top. Why? Because no matter what happens, that is the number you are going to get into your bank account, once taxes are taken out. So, if he gets $41 million per year, but they only guarantee $95 million, he doesn't care. He wants the guaranteed money. So I am guessing that is what he and his agent are pushing for, is $125 million guaranteed on like a 4-year, $160 million contract. That is probably what you're looking at here. Now, Adam Schefter had been all over this as well, especially from the potential trade side of this. He said in recent weeks, multiple teams have been discussing whether they can trade for Steelers pass rusher TJ Watt. The Steelers have been adamant they want Watt to finish his career in Pittsburgh. The Steelers haven't shown any willingness to deal Watt so far, but he's unhappy with his contractual situation, and sources believe outside team interest is likely to increase given Monday's trade. I said it yesterday, I'll say it now. They're not trading TJ Watt. They're not going to do it. Again, because of how they operate. You don't add all these vets, a 41-year-old quarterback, invest in DK Metcalf, bring in Jalen Ramsey, who's over 30 years old, Jonnu Smith you don't do all this stuff to then trade your best player away. Now, can things go south? Can things get ugly? Have we seen it in sports where things just become untenable and you just move on from a player? Yes, but he's been there his entire career. I think if it really just comes down to it, the Steelers would just bend the knee because he's got the leverage. Why? Because there's teams around the league that are willing to trade for him, and the Steelers know they can't afford to lose him. So all these other moves they've made kind of become null and void if they trade TJ Watt. Now, if you asked me 4 months ago, hey, before the offseason started, would you trade TJ Watt for like 2 first-round picks and just hit the reset button? I'd be like, yeah, I'd heavily consider that if I was Pittsburgh. You're stuck in the middle. You don't really have a chance to win a Super Bowl. Why not hit the reset button, TJ Watt, load up on picks, try to get a QB either this year or next year and reset? Cool. You could still get a big offer for TJ Watt, but again, once you commit the resources to veteran players like they have, you kind of have to lean into that and go all in. So I would be shocked if Pittsburgh traded TJ Watt at this point in time. 4 months ago, could it have happened? Kind of like I suggested with Myles Garrett when he requested a trade. I would have just done it if I was Cleveland. You're not close to winning. Get a haul for him and hit the reset button. But once you go down this road, if you're Pittsburgh, you kind of have to pay him. So I think eventually they're just going to bend the knee. Slick Rick Scoops, who's had a hell of an offseason. He was all over Ramsey to Pittsburgh, by the way. Got that one right as well. Tweeted this today. The latest offer would make TJ Watt the highest paid non-QB by APY, average per year, but there are still a ways to go on getting a deal done. Expect it to happen closer to camp. So what is he saying there? He's saying what I said earlier. Yeah, they might be offering him $41 million per year, but what's the guaranteed money look like? Like, if the guaranteed money isn't at least in the ballpark of the 123 Myles Garrett got, like if they're offering $100 million guaranteed, Watt's not going to take that deal because Myles Garrett, his counterpart, got 123.5. At minimum, he's got to be in that ballpark. So I think Ricky's right. I think when camp gets closer, they'll bend the knee because this is an all-in year for Pittsburgh. That's how they've operated. Whether that's the right or wrong decision, that is the path they have chosen. So in the end, TJ Watt will be a Pittsburgh Steeler. I would be stunned if he wasn't. Okay, will TJ Watt get more money than Myles Garrett? Let's talk guaranteed dollars. Type Y for yes, type in for no. I think he will because he can ask for it. He knows he can ask for it. He knows he has the leverage, and the Steelers don't have a choice. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of Four Verts. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Darren Waller traded. We'll see what's happening next with TJ Watt. We'll continue to have it all covered here on Four Verts. My name is Harrison Graham. We'll see you guys soon.